Guys, what's up? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz, and today we're looking at Quant, QNT, and the reason why you really want to be looking at this cryptocurrency is that it is outperforming all the top 100 cryptocurrencies over the past 7 days. The past full week, we have seen 39.5% in growth. Compare that to Bitcoin, which has seen minus 2.5%, Ethereum minus 7.4%. So in this video, I'm going to give you the story of QNT because every chart tells a story. But we're also going to do some on-chain analysis looking at the total number of unique addresses that ever appeared, because we're seeing some very interesting and very promising developments here which support the price action. Now, for those of you who don't know, Altcoin Buzz is first and foremost a crypto investment research company, and we have been providing you numerous 100x returns since 2017. So if you want to get in on that action, join our Altcoin Buzz access group where we document up-to-date research covering undervalued altcoin gems, NFT minting opportunities, and our portfolio strategies. So click the link up above to take part in the action or in the pinned comment section down below. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any future updates. And finally, please note that none of this is financial advice. Okay, so as mentioned, we've seen incredible growth over the past 7 days. If you click 7 days here on CoinGecko, you can see the top performer, number one, is Quant, QNT. And of course, Uni, which we covered yesterday, is performing very well over the past 7 days as well. So don't forget to check out that video. That being said, QNT is the name of the game today. So this 39.5% growth over the past 7 days, actually, if we go from the bottom, the previous low, to the previous local top, we can see it's 128% growth, okay? So very impressive growth. The last relief rally which we saw for QNT in this bear market saw a pump of just 90%. So this is very promising. This is showing a more significant relief rally. So the question is this sustainable? And that is what we're going to look at today. So in order to address that, we are here looking at QNT, the total number of unique addresses that ever appeared in a transaction on the QNT network. Now, on this chart, I have overlaid the price. So this brown line here, this brown line chart, is the price of QNT, and these green columns here represent the number of unique addresses. So note that the number of unique addresses is steadily increasing and has been ever since they've started being recorded on the 13th of January 2022. However, we are seeing some notable shifts in the rate of increase of new addresses. First of all, I want to compare these two yellow boxes. This one over here on the very left and this one on the very right. This one on the very left represents a 25-day period, an average sort of 25-day period that we saw at the beginning of this year, during which we saw 3.2% growth in unique addresses. And note that at the beginning of this year, the price went up, it went down, we tried again to reach previous high. We were basically in this kind of box zone. We weren't in a clear trend whatsoever, and we saw 3.2% growth. Whereas, of course, in the past 25 days, we've seen 6.14% growth, which means that we're seeing almost double the growth of unique addresses. Now, this is very good because it means that the on-chain fundamentals are supporting the price. So in other words, if the price increases significantly, as for example it did here on the 30th of January, during the month of February, the price was steadily increasing very rapidly, very intensely, but the growth rate of the unique addresses was not increasing that much. It was more or less steady. Whereas now we have seen a growth rate in the price, as I mentioned, 129%, and this corresponds with an increased growth rate in the number of unique addresses, okay? So that's the first thing I want to point out to you. Now, the next thing I want to point out is when we zoom into these two red boxes here, or rather pink. I'm a little bit colorblind sometimes. These pink boxes here. So these are two 7-day periods. You can see the 7-day period in mid-May and the 7-day period in mid-June. So first of all, the 7-day period in mid-May, just visually, you can see that we had a very strong shift in the number of new addresses being created. So I noticed this and I created a percentage. So here you can see we had 1.8% growth over these 7 days. And similarly here, we also had a relatively steady growth rate up until this point where we have this red line going up. And here we saw 1.4% growth over these 7 days. Now compare this 1.4% to the 16 days prior where we saw the exact same growth rate. So we saw basically double the growth rate over this 7-day period. And now what I want to show you is what happened after both of these 7-day periods of unusual growth rate. The first thing we saw after the first one was a stabilizing in price, all right? This horizontal blue line represents the end of this 7-day period. So you saw that basically we were stabilizing in price. We were not really going up or down. Then what happened was very interesting. As the price plummeted, we saw an increase in the total number of unique addresses that ever appeared in a transaction on the QNT network. The addresses were increasing very rapidly while the price was declining. So this was kind of like a bullish divergence on the RSI, except it's on the on-chain fundamentals. And what did we see after this 7-day period? Massive, massive growth. As I mentioned, about 129% growth. And another thing that I want to point out is very recently, we also saw a notable shift in the rate of increase here. This 7-day period, at the beginning of July, just very recently now, we saw 2.1% growth over this 7-day period. Again, compare that to these other two 7-day periods, which I mentioned, 1.4%, 1.8%. This is a very good sign. This is a sign that this relief rally is likely going to be sustained. And that in combination with the fact that the past 25 days have seen a higher growth rate than we saw, for example, during these 25 days when we actually had also a very large increase in price, gives credibility to this move up in a way that this move that we saw back here in March 2022 did not have. This move in March did not have much credibility because the number of new addresses was not increasing rapidly, whereas now the number of unique addresses is increasing rapidly, which is coinciding with this increase in price. So this is a very good sign, okay? Now, another sort of bullish divergence that we're seeing on the on-chain fundamentals is the number of unique QNT addresses that were active as a receiver of funds, all right? That means that you create an address and then this unique address, all right, so a new address which has never been used, actively receives funds. And notice what has happened here. First of all, look at the peak, the all-time high. The red line represents the price, which I've overlaid onto this chart. You can see the price peaked with the number of unique addresses up here, and then we had this big, big dump where it more or less came down approximately the same percentage. Whereas what happened, the price rebounded over here on the 6th of June. It rebounded somewhat, but look at the unique addresses. Massive, massive bounce up. The unique addresses has significantly increased since then. And probably the only reason that the price hasn't increased drastically since then is because we're in a bear market. But it's a very good sign that the on-chain fundamentals are looking solid for QNT and that we can likely expect some future potential growth. Now, for those of you who do want to learn more about Quant Network, I actually posted a video on the channel here on Altcoin Buzz 2 years ago, why Quant Network will be massive. This was in June 8th, 2020. And I also just want to point out to you something about investing in cryptocurrencies. That was June 8th, 2020. Now here on CoinGecko, let's look at where the price was on June 8th, 2020. The price was $7.89. And as you can see, we had a massive, massive pump, you know, absolutely phenomenal pump. We went all the way up until a high of $427. So will Quant Network be massive? It certainly was when compared to that price. But what's really impressive and what I really want to bring home to you is the value of long-term investments in solid projects. All the projects that I cover here using technical analysis are backed by the fundamental analysis research team on Altcoin Buzz, all right? So again, if you had have purchased in June 2018 and you had have held until now, even though we've seen a massive retracement from the previous all-time high, the current price is still $86, still a 10x compared to 2 years ago, okay? So really long-term perspective pays in cryptocurrency market, all right? That's what I want to bring home to you guys. Okay, with all that being said, let's get down to some of the price levels. Let's look at the support levels first of all. So here we are on the 4-hour time frame. If we zoom out, we can get a perspective of the volume profile to see where a major support would be. Well, first of all, I think the very clear support level from which we pivoted was the $75.2 level. This represents, if you actually bring this line out, you can see that we had plenty of resistance at this level, and now we found support at it. Very good sign in terms of technical analysis. A level which has previously been resisted many times, and which has now found support. Very good sign, very good base from which to enter a potential trade. All right, so that's the first support level. If that support level breaks, we are looking at potentially finding support here at this previous double top. Also, many candles had a high at the $66.8 level. And if we break that level as well, then I suggest to zoom out to the daily time frame. And of course, the next one would be the previous daily low to try and maintain this uptrend on the daily chart at the $48.4 level. Now, when it comes to resistances, we can see that right now at this current price level, this current zone, we found support multiple times in the past. So I'm actually going to place the resistance just above this previous high that we had here at $90.8. Actually, we'll get the much more precise level if we zoom into the 4-hour time frame, $91 level. So that will be an important resistance to break because that has marked support in the past. So breaking this will be further confirmation that the bulls are in control of the short term here on the daily time frame. And then if we break that resistance, then the volume profile shows that we have some more potential resistance up around the psychological $100 level. And if we break the $100 level, then again, we want to zoom out here and see what the previous price action has shown us. And the previous price action shows us that if we break the $100 level, there will still be potentially stiff resistance at the $113.4 level. All right, so in summary, the on-chain analysis is looking very good. The number of unique QNT addresses that were active as a receiver of funds have increased drastically over the past month and a half, whereas the price has increased only somewhat in comparison, sort of a bullish divergence on-chain fundamentals. When it comes to the total number of unique addresses that ever appeared in a transaction on the QNT network, we are seeing significant growth in the rate of increase of new addresses appearing on the network, as shown by several 7-day periods, which are increasing compared to previous 7-day periods, as well as this recent 25-day period, which is significantly larger, about twice the rate of growth as a typical 25-day period earlier on this year. And when it comes to the chart, well, clearly we are still in a downtrend on the weekly chart, but the daily chart is looking very impressive, very clear uptrend. We have a very solid support at the $75.2 level from which we have already bounced. So certainly it looks very encouraging for the bulls over the coming weeks. And the support levels to be watching are the 75.2, 66.8, and the $48.4 levels. And the resistance levels to be watching are the 91, the 100, and the $113.4 levels. Okay, that has been it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I added more on-chain fundamentals today because Glassnode actually provides a lot of this information on TradingView. If you want to check it out for yourself, all you need to do is go to a symbol search and then click Glassnode here, where usually it will say sources over here, and then you pick Glassnode, and then you will see all the things relating to all the on-chain fundamentals relating to QNT, for example, on Glassnode here. just for those of you who want to do research on your own, because of course, whatever decisions you make in the market are your responsibility to bear. So with that being said, I wish you the best of luck in your trading and investing. And don't forget to check out our other videos if you haven't already. There are a couple of them posted up here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video if you liked it. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.